Madam Clerk, we'll have a roll call of the members, please.
Judge Rutherford.
Present.
Magistrate Anderson.
Here.
Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Mr. Dotson is not here, obviously, and Magistrate Harris, is he?
Magistrate Johnson is present. We have a quorum. We have pledge of allegiance led by Magistrate Murphy. We are a saddened court today. We have two. We are a saddened court today, and we have in the family of two of our magistrates. Pat and I was up to the funeral home at Virgie for Charles Sloan, which is Chick Johnson's brother-in-law, a real friend of this court who spent a lot of time with all of us at accompanied to a lot of meetings, but Charles is I graduated from high school with his brother George and knew the whole family and generation and all of us very close to that family. And to Hillman Dotson. Hillman lost Kathy Ann Sampson, his sister. We're going to have a very short meeting today. We want to keep the county's business and people that's before the court. Want you to be very brief to the point. And we want to adjourn court in time for those who want to attend the funeral. Any commissioner or director that worked with the Hillman that wants to attend the funeral can of course take time off and go to the funeral today. Those who have other obligations, of course, will have to meet them, but this is a time of sadness for this court. And so we want to move on because it's a matter of time, because the funeral today, I understand, is at 1 p.m. at the Presbyterian Church at Stopover. So we know how long it takes to get over to Stopover for those who want to attend. We had a request from Monk Sanders to come before the court today. I'd asked Monk to be very brief. You just need to make your request to the court, and Monk is from over in that area, and he knows the Dotson family too. And so, Monk, if you'll come around and we put you on the agenda as you requested to address the court. And I would ask you to limit it to about 5 minutes if you could possibly do that. If you'll leave the copies with the clerk, Monk, she'll give it to the other magistrates.
Judge, I'll be just as brief as I can. What I'm here today for is to request that we can get the funding for Kentucky Hope at the coal severance tax money that I understand that the court has. And I had some papers they wanted turned in. I turned them in this morning. And we need this before June the 15th because our mission workers start coming in the second week in June all the way up through the second week in August. And we have handicap ramps requested, already filled out applications to build and install. We have home repair, leaks, floors, roofs, and things like that. The elderly people's got buckets sitting in their floors. And this is, I want to give a brief description of Kentucky Hope because sometimes it can be in operation for years and never get it across. Kentucky Hope is a mini version of CAP, Christian Appalachian Project. We gather truckloads of merchandise and we distribute it to other charities, other organizations in Pike County. You're familiar with it, Judge, and so is Carl Napier. Paul Tackett's familiar. We just give a truckload of brand new weed eaters, home light chainsaws, generators, power washers, and all, to be used for emergency management. This is what we try to do at Kentucky Hope. We have thrift stores that we distribute the profits from these thrift stores to other agencies in Pike County so they can meet the needs of the people, emergency needs. So when this occasion rises, in September 2010, we had a bad thing hit us. The lady in Merlin that sent all this stuff in passed away suddenly. All of a sudden, we lost the truckloads of merchandise. We lost funding. Her husband started it back up in May of 2011. the thrift stores is just now getting lined out since then to start giving funding back out.
Mr. Sanders, you had met with Hillman Dotson.
I met with Hillman already.
And Jeannie, I think Hillman called you and talked to you after he met with him. Mr. County Attorney, what was requested, have you received what was requested in regard to the check that the budget office has in the vault?
I did receive a number of documents this morning. I have not looked at them. I have given them to Jeff Anderson, who's an accountant, to look at. At this point in time, Judge, it would require a motion and a majority vote for the court to pass the check on to Kentucky Hope. There never was a motion in the court. They were holding up making the motion.
They held up the check until the court authorized it.
I feel like we have the documents requested.
At the request of...
But if you don't, there's no problem me get them for you.
Do I have a motion? I'll make the motion after understanding Mr. Hillman Dotson's request and knowing what Hope has done for people with handicap ramps through the county government. They built hundreds, since I've been around, hundreds of them for people who could not afford them at no cost to them. I know that. I realize that. But the only question, as the county attorney said, was the check had never been authorized to be given to you by the court.
Right.
Magistrate Dotson asked that the check be held up until what had been requested by this court was delivered to the county attorney. He has that in hand. He's passed it to Magistrate Anderson, so he has it in hand. So my understanding from Magistrate Dotson that he has no objection for you having the check now. So I'll make the motion. If you get a second, after the release the check to you, since you have workers coming in. Are there any questions in regard to that?
No, I don't have any questions, Judge.
Any questions? Any questions in regard to it or statements you'd make?
Me too.
Yeah, somebody needs to second it.
Do I have a second? We have to have a second before you get a vote on the floor to release the funds.
Kentucky Hope helps his food. It's used for food. Kentucky Hope. The trailer's setting up there on the Collins Highway from Home Depot. We get about 4 a year. And check, the most projects we've done has been up in that area because they're the closest to us. We give out brand new commodes, bathtubs, windows, doors, all brand new stuff that comes into us where people's remodeling their houses that can't afford it.
How many people do you have coming in that will work this summer?
Come in groups every week between June, second weekend in June to second week in August, and their groups are anywhere from 10 to 30 each week.
Is that the church groups that comes
That's
in
church
every
groups
year?
and college students, right?
And college students?
Yep.
Judge, let me ask you, Rhonda, you did verify, you have receipts the money was spent for appropriate and pursuant to the memorandum of agreement that we had with the Department of Local Government.
That is correct. Mike Sanders brought to me documentation which included invoices and canceled checks, and I have submitted those to the Department for Local Government, and that is why they released the check to us. So they were satisfied with what Mr. Sanders brought to me in order to release the check to the county. This
particular check is for work that has already been done or reimbursed that they've already expended the funds for.
Correct, and operating expenses.
Okay.
I'll second the motion, Judge.
What I'm saying is, you all and us should start working a little bit closer.
We need to, Chick, bad, because
You've jumped in that paper and jumped all over us, want to audit us and everything.
Judge, I did. Hold now, wait, Chick. I didn't want to audit you guys. Let me. Nobody's ever asked me why I did that. Let me tell you why I did that.
Well, let's not get into it.
No. I just want Judge.
I have told Monk that you don't bite the hand that feeds you, and that's exactly what happened in this
and
instance.
Judge,
I said
I gotta get along with these guys, or the people's ones suffering. These people's wait.
We don't want to argue, but I had told you before, don't bite the hand that feeds you, and that's what.
Judge, let me calmly say, I made that request, open records request, because I'm thinking about seeking public office in the next election, and I wanted to know what that position paid and what the benefits was. That paper is filed, and there's never been nobody said nothing about nothing, except that's what I wanted to see. And the position that I was seeking, I didn't want to go ask him, what does it pay? Because if he does run for that position, I'm not running no how. But I wanted to know, and that was why. I'm not seeking out to say nothing, Chick. Yeah. Chick, we've even come, and I think Glenn, our new president, Glenn Lamont, has even come, I think, and talked to him and said, if you know somebody, Chick, that needs help, we've got plenty of stuff up there to give out. Yeah. And I want to get this out there to the people, and I want to get what they need. They're hurting bad. I appreciate it. And it's no more ill feelings.
You need to communicate with the court directly instead of through the newspaper, and I've told you that before.
Wayne, it's hard to do that.
We'll be glad to. We represent the people that needs help, and we care about those people.
Yeah.
The same as you do.
It's hard for me to get to talk to them. I wanted to try. I didn't want to come here today. I wanted to meet with you guys back there, but they said it's illegal.
Do you have?
So
We have a. We get a second.
I know you have.
We have a motion and a second, and to release the check, because I understand you need the money for these people that's coming in. We want these. Chick Johnson just said we want these people to get help.
Amen.
If they need a bathroom, a commode, we want them to have it. If they don't have it,
Amen.
we want that to happen, but we have all got to work together.
I want that more than anything, Judge.
Well, let's do it in the future.
Let's do it.
Don't be
Okay.
Don't be biting the hand that feeds you. Madam Clerk, have a roll call vote.
Magistrate Anderson.
Before I vote, Mike, I'd just like to say, anytime that you want to speak to me or have something, I'd be more than happy to sit down.
I appreciate that.
And I really mean that. If there's a question, 24/7, call me. I'll right here anytime. I keep it usually by my side.
All right.
I appreciate what you do, and I'll just echo what Chick said. We do need to try to get along and work together, and like you said, help the people.
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
My vote's yes.
Magistrate Johnson. Yes. Magistrate Murphy. Yes. Magistrate Robinson. Yes. And Judge Rutherford.
Yes. So you can release the check, and Carl, I know that what they've meant to us, the people that we referred to them over the years, they've really been a lot of help. And Doug Tackett is not here, I noticed, Jeannie, but he was able to get weed eaters and stuff through his department, and a lot of help to him. So,
Judge,
Monk, go ahead, Carl.
Judge, the only thing I wanted to comment on, Mark Sanders did say we are one of the charities that benefit from that. He always brings in anywhere from $300 to $500 that he gives to the RAM event, which is going to be held this year at June the 9th and 10th. And as you said, Judge, he has been a real big benefit to our office and in helping the people that we refer to him. And to that, I would like to say thank you for doing that.
Look, Carl and I appreciate it. I remember the person going to the hospital and had no money, and Carl and I wrote a check, but your agency brought $400 to that family. I don't forget those kind of things.
I know you don't.
But on the other hand, when Hillman Dotson comes and says, look what's in the paper, and when Chick Johnson said, look what's in the paper, and we want to work with you. Let's work together.
Judge, we just got on the wrong foot one time.
You all do a magnificent job for the people out here that needs help. And you've done so much over the years to help pull people up that, due to no cause of their own, many times, and those blessed children born into those situations.
Yeah.
And let's work together. I agree with these magistrates, and I agree, and I'm speaking for Magistrate Dotson too, since he's home today, but be with his family.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, and your check will be available.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Mr. Judge Hayes, or Mr. County Attorney, we had the first reading of a bond refunding. For your all's information, we have on the bonds, we have the two gentlemen was here previously with us today, I don't know where we got any question, but we was glad to get the news that we could raise that up to 8 million, ever what it is, 8.2 million, and the landfill could be, and that will give us, as we're looking for money in tight budget time, that'll give us approximately $166,000 more dollars to use in next year's budget, and which will help us tremendously as we look for ways to raise funding or to tighten our belt or to do things to raise money in the bonding issue. And what we need today, if there are no questions, you all are available. They are available to answer the questions here if you have any, but if not, we'll have a motion to authorize the county judge executive to sign the forms as prepared by the bonding council. I guess that was Reuben Hayes prepared those, and those are on my desk. Mr. County,
Judge,
County Attorney, we have to have first reading of the ordinance.
Judge, this is a first reading of the notice of an intended enactment and summary bond ordinance. The title of the ordinance is an ordinance of the Fiscal Court of the County of Pike, Kentucky, providing for the issuance of County of Pike, Kentucky General Obligation Refunding Bonds, Series 2012, in the amount not to exceed $8,250,000, for the purpose of providing funds necessary to pay the cost of refunding certain outstanding obligations of the county, setting forth the terms and conditions upon which the Series 2012 bonds are to be issued and outstanding, ordering and providing for the levy of an annual tax to the extent necessary in amount sufficient to pay the interest and principal of the Series 2012 bonds, and providing for a public sale of the Series 2012 bonds and the application of the proceeds thereof. In summary form, as required by KRS Chapter 424, I hereby certify that an ordinance, the title of which is the foregoing, was introduced and given first reading by title and summary by the Fiscal Court of the County of Pike at its meeting on May 15, 2012, and that said Fiscal Court at its meeting to be on June 5, 2012 at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at the Pike County Courthouse, 146 Main Street, Pikeville, Kentucky, will give second reading to and consider the said ordinance for enactment. The ordinance A authorizes the issuance of the County of Pike, Kentucky General Obligation Refunding Bonds, Series 2012, in an amount not to exceed $8,250,000. The bonds for the purpose of refinancing and refunding certain outstanding obligations of the county. B authorizes the bonds to be sold by public competitive sale and sets the terms and conditions for the sale of the bonds. C authorizes the county judge executive to open the bids and accept a successful bid on behalf of the county, and authorizes the county judge executive and the fiscal court clerk to execute all necessary documents, instruments, and obligations of the county in order to issue the bonds. D orders and provides for the levy of an annual tax to the extent necessary in the amount sufficient to pay the principal of and interest on the bonds. And E appoints U.S. Bank National Association paying agent and bond registrar for the bonds. The full text of the ordinance summarized above is available for inspection by all interested parties during regular office hours at the office of the Fiscal County Clerk, namely Rose Farley, Fiscal Court Clerk. That is a first reading in summary form, Judge.
That is the first reading. As the county attorney said, we need a separate motion to authorize me to sign the papers from our bonding council from Louisville.
Motion.
Motion by Magistrate Anderson. Have a second by Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson? Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Mr. George, you have any statement or anything you need to?
No, Judge, I think you covered it real well. Like you said, we added the landfill to the provide additional savings. Right now, we're projecting total savings for the refunding of about $600,000.
For the records, since Mr. George wasn't in the microphone, he says that the landfill was added to it, and which brought it up to $8.2 million. Thank you. Next, we have, and we need to get the minutes approved. I've got in such a hurry a while ago, I passed them up. That for the April 27th meeting at 2:12. I have reviewed those minutes, and Jeannie has reviewed them. We found them to be correct. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? Magistrate Murphy, have a second. Magistrate Johnson, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson? Magistrate Murphy? Magistrate Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. During the last session of the legislature, You all will recall that the state had a terrible time getting a budget. They followed essentially the same process that we follow. The chief executive submits a budget, then the legislature has to approve the budget, recommends it changes to the governor, and the governor changes the budget. You all are aware of the trouble that they had in Frankfurt and had to call a special session. During the regular session, it was passed the House and Senate of legislation to not take, it was a compromise between the House and the Senate leadership and the governor's office and former Governor Patton, that funds from the multi-county severance tax fund, $6 million approximately, would go to scholarships in the 9 counties. That's coal-producing counties of eastern Kentucky for bachelor's degree. You remember the statistics that the universities had around Kentucky, which was so much greater, sometimes 4 times as great, of bachelor's degrees than we had here in eastern Kentucky, in the coal-producing fields of eastern Kentucky. So this was an effort to educate people and educate a workforce for economic development as we develop here in eastern Kentucky. So when the session ended and they finally got a bill to the governor's desk in regard to the budget for 2013 and 2014, it's a 2-year biennium budget, 212, 214, and 213 and 214 budget. You're aware that the $6 million that had been allocated by vote of the House and the Senate it didn't make it into the final bill because of time constraints. Because they had 2 senators from outside the coal area that wanted to file motions and amendments to it. So they moved on, and Governor Patton called me last week, and he told me that he had an agreement with Frankfurt that the $6 million will become available to the 9 counties, and that those schools are University of Pikeville, Alice Lloyd, and the community college systems, and that money would be available, and the governor's discretionary fund. The governor's discretionary fund on coal severance tax had a carryover of $8.2 million from this year into next year, and then when you total the 2-year budgets up, it came to $21,899,500. The $6 million that Governor Patton has an agreement that would come to these schools for scholarships for bachelor degrees would be $6 million in the 2 biennium. That would leave $15,899,500. 8 of the county judge executives in the other counties, Governor Patton told me, had concurred to become part of this. Under the Kentucky Revised Statute, under multi-county severance tax, you have to have 2 or more counties. The lead counties, he had asked that the Pike County become a lead county and Knott County become a lead county, and the others would fall in line. He had not heard back from the county judge of the 9th county, which was Bell County. He was on vacation or not available to talk to him when the governor talked to me last week. So the governor has asked that we become, it's not up to us whether or not they get the money. It's up to us whether or not that we would be the conduit to give the money to the university and to the college and to the community college system. We would be a conduit that the money would come through to get to them. We don't make a decision. It's strictly up to the governor of the Commonwealth under the Kentucky statute on multi-county severance tax. To put it a little more so it'd be understood, Middleton, over to the television station at Hazard, Bobby, said the governor has, if you want to make it simple, a slush fund, if you want to call it that he can do anything he wants to with it. but Governor Patton says he has a commitment to give the $6 million. We would only be a conduit to get out. It is great for economic development. It's great for our future that we raise in these 9 counties. We should and will in the future become a part of the state college system. We're the only gap in Kentucky missing. Northern Kentucky was the last one, and they covered it. And now in the future we'll get it, but now we don't have it. So this is a way that Pikeville, University of Pikeville, can take the lead and along with Alice Lloyd College and along with the community college system. They will take no students. Governor Patton said, make it clear, it takes no students away from Alice Lloyd or your community college system. The Pikeville, University of Pikeville will be, if they teach any classes, they'll be going to the campuses of Alice Lloyd or to the campuses of your community college system or to a school building that the Board of Education in that county has that's vacant for them to use. So they've asked that we, and Judge Hayes, you have a copy and you will read the recommended resolution, or ever who's going to read it, either you or the county attorney, the adoption of a joint resolution of Pike and Knott County Fiscal Court that the LGEFD fund money is available to counties. And as I said, we don't make the decision. The governor makes that decision. We would be a conduit to do it, and it is a great thing for these 9 counties to get an educated workforce in the future. Mr. County Attorney.
This is a joint resolution of the counties of Pike and Knott. Adoption of a joint resolution of the Pike and Knott County Fiscal Courts authorizing the filing of a Kentucky Local Government Economic Development Fund, LGEDF, project proposal grant application for up to $6 million in local government economic development multi-county funds with the Department for Local Government, DLG, designating the Pike County Fiscal Court as the lead entity for the project, authorizing and directing the Pike County Judge Executive to execute any documents which are deemed necessary by DLG to carry out this project, and authorizing the Judge Executive to act as the authorized correspondent for this project. Whereas the Pike and Knott counties desire to promote and carry out economic and community development efforts on behalf of the residents, and whereas it is recognized that LGEDF monies available to the counties for the purpose stated herein, pursuant to KRS 42.4582, 242.495, and 2008 Kentucky General Assembly House Bill 1 Budget Bill, impose certain obligations and responsibilities upon the counties and will require them, among other things: 1, approval of a satisfactory application transmitted to DLG for approval, and number 2, other obligations of the counties in connection with receiving the LGEDF grant of monies for the purposes stated herein. Now therefore it be resolved this blank day of blank 2012 by the Pike and Knott County Fiscal Courts that a project proposal grant application on behalf of the counties for LGEDF monies up to $6 million for the Kentucky Cole County College Completion Scholarship Project shall be submitted to DLG. Pike County is hereby designated as the lead entity for the purposes of the project. All grant funds shall be administered by Pike County. Pike County shall provide such additional information and furnish such documentation as may be required, and the Pike County Judge Executive shall act as the authorized correspondent for this project. This is a resolution which would require a motion, second, and majority vote. Judge, I would comment for the record that the part of this proposal says that all grant funds shall be administered by Pike County, and Pike County shall provide such additional information. We do need to be careful, I think, when we make the proposal to make sure that we are more or less just a conduit or a pass-through, and that we don't end up being the ones responsible for making the decision as to who get the scholarships, as I think that would require hiring another person to do such a job. But we can watch for that in the documents that we submit, and just to make sure that we are merely a conduit.
Mr. County Attorney, one thing I didn't say, the $6 million was in the governor's original budget when he proposed it to the legislature. So it's not only was it in the governor's budget, but it has been passed both by the House and Senate in Frankfort. and then didn't make it in, as you all are aware of the budget situation. Any question?
No, I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands, like you said, there's only one person that controls multi-county coal service tax, and that is the governor, the only person that does control it.
Correct. Have a motion? Have a motion, Master Anderson. Have a second? Have a second from Master Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson,
Yes.
Master Johnson, Master Murphy, Master Robinson, Judge Rutherford.
Yes. We need to acknowledge the receipt of the budget from the Pike County Library District. Have a motion? We're only required to acknowledge the receipt of it under the statute. Master Murphy, second Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson,
Yes.
Master Johnson, Master Murphy, Master Robinson, Judge Rutherford.
Yes. We need to acknowledge receipt of a corrected budget, which was a typographical error for the Extension Board that was corrected and resubmitted. To have a motion. Have a motion and have a second from Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson,
Yes.
Master Johnson, Master Murphy, Master Robinson, Judge Rutherford.
Yes. We need adoption of a resolution for LGDEF grant for Dorton Community Park in the amount of $50,000. You can see the pictures on the screen of the park up there. It's a beautiful park. Certainly, we're proud of our park system. It gives our people out in the county that mine the coal to take the severance tax money and do something for the people in their home communities, as this court has stated for many, many, many times. Do I have a motion to approve the resolution? Mr. County Attorney, do you have the resolution?
Yes, Judge, the resolution's in the package. It's an adoption of a resolution for $50,000 for the Dorton Park. I'm sure Magistrate Johnson would like to make that motion.
Motion, Master Johnson. Have a second from Master Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson,
Yes.
Master Johnson, Master Murphy, Master Robinson, Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Somebody was telling me Sunday night, they said the biggest crowd this weekend's ever been on Longport in a long time. All the parks were playing baseball, gospel singing, playing music, and every 4 hours somebody's waiting to take the music. So while I was there, I didn't get Longport. I went to Dorton at 9, had to go up there and take some toilet tissue. I couldn't even get to the community center. I had to walk to it to take the toilet tissue.
At the groundbreaking at the Dorton Park, we put a monument up there because we had to move some graves, the county did. And one of those people was my 5th great-grandfather that we moved, was Johnson. And they had moved those graves to the Johnson Cemetery at the request of the family, of course. And we put a monument up there, and if you're ever up to that park, you can see it, and it has the family. Did we have a vote?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We
On
need
Dorton.
to adopt a resolution from the LGDEF grant funds, Furrows Creek Neighborhood Watch Program, the amount of $50,000. You all are aware of this program. It's a national program throughout America, and one that the Sheriff's Office and Sheriff of Pike County, Charles Fuzzy Kazie's office coordinates and organizes, and they have a great one, I understand, in the Furrows Creek area. And Leo would help them get this funding. So, Mr. County Attorney, do you have a resolution?
Yes, Judge, the resolution is in your package. It's for $50,000 for the local government, for LGEDF funds for Farrell's Creek Neighborhood Watch. I'm sure Magistrate Murphy would like to make this motion.
Magistrate Murphy's motion, second from Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson? Master Murphy? Master Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. We need the adoption of a resolution to approve the execution of the County Road Aid Co-op program with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. In these lean budget times, the only thing that the good news that we got from Frankfurt, everything else was 8.9 cuts to everybody. I noticed the health department in Fayette County laying off 26 in the paper this morning. Everybody's got bad news, but the Hatcher, Mr. Hatch, the transportation money was up in Frankfurt. Transportation money, up. So last year we got from this program, County Road Aid, we got $1,426,868. Hats this year we got $1,739,885. So we was glad. Now we was glad also. We already have back in the budget. We already have in the budget that was proposed the $600,000 back for our blacktopping and pothole patching. But now we're going to be able to put a little bit more money to our road system, and we have more roads than any county in the Commonwealth. We maintain about 800 miles of roads and bridges in Pike County. So it is a tough job for us, but that's the only good news that we have from the state budget or the local budget. Everything else is we have tightened our belt. We had no surplus in the budget this year at all. That was money that was carryover money that was already allocated, and to comply with the federal and state federal code, state statute, and both guidelines of the federal government and state government. That money was already set for projects in the county, and a big part of it was coal severance tax fund. But then we tightened our belt, as you all know, and I've commended the commissioners and directors because I go over the budget. The finance director and I look at every item on the budget. I did that early this morning. Everything you approved today has been looked at on that sheet, and I had comments on about 7 different items, and they'll get back to me on those. So we have tightened our belt. You all have done your job. We changed the purchasing order system. We've done many things to tighten our belt and to raise more money. We, again, appreciate KCO. The gentleman's gone now, but we appreciate KCO and their insurance working with us. Saved us around $70,000 on our heating and cooling system that they was able to help us on. Mr. County Attorney.
This is a resolution concerning the proposed county road aid agreement. As you indicated, it's for the amount of $1,739,885. Would require a motion, second, majority vote.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion, Master Robbins, second, Master Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson? Mr. Murphy? Mr. Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Ronald Wright from Dorton, which is a good friend of Magistrate Johnson and myself, and many of you, and Judge Hayes and others. We know the Wright family and what they've contributed to this county. Ron has retired. Ron had been, he graduated from University of Kentucky and taught school for a while, then put in a construction company, and has been an active member on the Pike County Housing Authority. He has retired, and he's going to keep his home here, but he's going to spend most of his time in Tennessee on the lake. And he has resigned from the Housing Authority. In consultation with Gay Newsom, the director, and realizing too, in looking at the severance tax allocations this year, and noting that the Housing Authority didn't get any funding, and they get no administrative money, and they do bring, like Hope brings in, they will bring in about 200 college students or more this year to work on people's homes, and they work with Carl and her group. We're going to recommend to you that Randy Johnson, who's chairperson of LADA, the group that was set up for FEMA, the independent group from county government that was set up. Randy Johnson administers for the Pike County Ministerial Association. He administered the $120,000 that was people donated after the flood to help people, the flood victims. And also, they operate a center at Mullins to help people with clothing that needs clothing and needs help through the school system and through the general public. So Randy Johnson, I talked to Randy Johnson recently, and the reason it inspired me is my conversation with him. He said, I understand that your housing authority is not going to didn't get any funding from the severance tax this year, and they're bringing these people in to do work on these houses. This year and next year, they bring in 200 to 300 college students. So he said, look, we'll have a special fundraiser raising funds to get this work done. And I said, Mr. Johnson, that's admirable of you to say that you would spearhead that and do that. I have asked Randy Johnson if he would accept an appointment on the Pike County Housing Board, and he said that he would, and that is my recommendation to you all as Randy Johnson, that I make the motion. Second by Magistrate Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson? Yes. Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. We need approval to renew the 2013 lease with the Finance and Administration Cabinet of the Kentucky Department of Facilities and Support Services for property located at Coal Holler on Island Creek behind the city fire station, which belongs to Pike County government. With the Kentucky State Police, it's used as a firing range. They've had this arrangement with us for years. Mr. County Attorney. Got a motion by Magistrate Anderson. Have a second, Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson?
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson? Yes. Magistrate Murphy? Yes. Magistrate Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Bobby Branham, you handle that, of course, the leases, and you have any comment?
Just that standard one, Judge, and we don't get any money, and they get to use it, so everything works out fine.
Good shape. Next, as the last meeting, we had a discussion about, a brief discussion about the golf board, and Magistrate Dotson asked that we provide at the next meeting the years that the people of the golf board that I recommend the years that they would serve. Judge Hayes informed me that it is a 4-year appointment under the statute, and we have recommended today the following.
Judge, excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there was a question asked by one of the members last meeting about particularly Jim Absher, and I did contact Jim, spoke with him, and he said he's kind of worn out. He'd like to come off the board. He said he would continue to serve, but he'd like to just relax and enjoy himself. So I did want to report that to the court, because I know you had offered a name and will be offering a name to fill Jim Absher's position. He's agreeable with that.
Thank you, Judge Hayes. I want to make the following recommendations. Is Jerry Wayne Childers?
Judge, excuse me again, so that the record is clear and that we can keep these boards on track. These are staggered terms. They're all 4-year terms, but they start and end at different times and have been since the creation of the County Golf Board in the code. So if we could, Judge, I think your list has when the term ends for each of your recommendations. If you could state that for the record, then the clerk will have that, and we can keep these slots filled. And for the court's information, I don't want to steal your thunder, Jerry Wayne, for example, he's a holdover and is filling the same slot that he had. So
it ends on 1/1/13.
That's correct.
Thank you, because it's easier understood when you say staggered terms. And so Jerry Wayne Childers goes to 1/1/13. Recommend Mike Blackburn from over to MEDA, and his term would end 1/1/14. Jack Sykes was reappointed at the last court meeting. Of course, he's the chairman of the golf board. Anthony Casey from the Pike County Board of Education, and reappointment, his term would end on 1/1/15. Steve Williamson, whose term, and he is from the Belfry area, I understand, and his term would end 1/1/16. Hobart Clay Johnson from Virgie, who is to be reappointed, and his term would end 1/1/16. Nelson Scott, who's from District 1, his term would end 6/4/15.
Judge, I might add too that there's two others, golf board appointments who are in holdover terms, just like all these folks were. We're still trying to touch base with them and see what their position is with regard to reappointment or getting off the board.
And I'm about to add, Mr. County Attorney, those two members are still by statute members of the board until this court takes action.
That's right.
Judge, while we're in the golf course bidding, sure, I had one of the work-ins come and talk to me yesterday. Said he had about 17 years with the golf course, and he tried to tell me that he's going to lose his time with the county because this other place is going to.
We have a meeting when, Jeannie? We have a meeting on the calendar with it'd be the second meeting with the two employees. One's got 16 years, one's got 22 years.
Yeah, somewhere like that. They can't talk.
And and I told them this court would look out for their interest. That's the reason when we approved this, we didn't approve the employee part of it till July 1.
We don't let them employees thing fixed up. We should appeal it. I mean, what I'm saying.
They can.
17 years, let a bunch come back here and take a job.
Yeah, we're having a meeting with them and Jack Sykes and Mr. Patton. When is the meeting? Wednesday, the 23rd. We have a meeting with them, and I have told, as Mr. Johnson was interested in, the one that had 16 years. I've met personally with both of them. We've met in one meeting with both of them. We have another meeting set on the 23rd, and I told both of those county employees that they have the option to stay in county government if they so desire and can bid in a position. Both of them are highly qualified. So that we're going to look out, Master Johnson, for those employees. Yeah. Well, I guess they was wondering why we canceled the meeting the other day, but Jim Patton's stepfather passed away. The reason the meeting was canceled last week. I don't know whether the word got to them or not. They probably got worried about it. But we'll look out for their interest. Do I have a
Second.
motion?
Yeah. Did you make a motion to reappoint? I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. We have any bids, Mr. Stacy?
I've got 4 bids to present to the court. Bid number 19 for 2012 is for 6 new 2013 leased tandem dump trucks. We received 1 bid from Worldwide Equipment of Prestonsburg. Bid price for each truck is $122,910. Total price for all 6 trucks is $737,460. No exceptions to the bid and delivery within 30 days. My recommendation would be to award the bid for the 6 new trucks to Worldwide Equipment for the total bid price of $737,460. Do
you have any questions? No questions. Have a motion, Master Murphy. Have a second, Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Mr. Stacy?
Bid number 20 is for 2 new 2013 leased roll-off transfer trucks for the solid waste. We received 1 bid from Worldwide Equipment of Prestonsburg. Bid price for each truck is $139,844. Total bid price for both trucks, $279,688, and no exceptions to the bid. And my recommendation would be to award the bid for the 2 new trucks to Worldwide Equipment for the total price of $279,688.
Any questions? There's no question. Have a motion. Motion, Master Murphy. Second, Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Murphy? Yes. Mr. Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. Mr. Stacy?
Bid number 21 was for pool management for the 3 county swimming pools at various locations. We received no bids. Bid number 22 was for the electrical installation for the generator at the Pike County Courthouse. We received 2 bids. The first bid was from Eastern Telephone. Total bid price, $27,150. One exception to the bid is that the county would have to provide the transfer switch, and it also came with a 1-year warranty. Bid number 2 is from Elliott Contracting of Pikeville. Total bid price, $23,114. No exceptions to the bid with a 1-year warranty. My recommendation would be to award the bid to Elliott Contracting for the total bid price of $23,114.
Grant money? Pass-through money, grant money?
Is it 100% funded, or is it fiscal court?
It's partially by the court. The whole generator was $269,000 with 35%. Court's part is $35,000 over the whole grant.
There's
Grant,
nothing in
grant.
this budget coming up to pay for that.
We told y'all that last year.
Is that in the carryover money?
That's supposed to be in there.
It's supposed to be on wish list, so we know what we do with stuff too. That's not in the budget nowhere, because we don't have the money, and if the court wants to do that, then they're going to.
But you've already received the money from the grants?
We haven't received it yet, it's reimbursement money.
Well, she has to know so she can, before you place the order or approve it, let's pass that one so you all can get on the same wavelength. We'll pass that one. Is that all you had, Mr. Stacy?
Yes, Judge.
Okay.
The only thing you mentioned was the antennas, having them upgraded, is all Rhonda and I've dealt with this new budget.
Okay, you all get together, and then next court meeting we'll take care of that. Magistrate Strodework.
Motion.
Magistrate Anderson. Have a second. Magistrate Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson,
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson, Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Magistrate's comments.
I have no comments, Judge.
I don't have anything, Judge.
Next is the treasurer's business.
First thing, I guess, Judge, I
Madam
need
Treasurer,
to
before you
bring
get-
up about the scheduling or not
Correct.
scheduling any more work sessions, that the fiscal court would have the first reading of the proposed fiscal year 2012-2013 budget at the Tuesday, June 5th, 2012 court meeting. If there are any changes from the fiscal court, they will be made during that meeting. The second reading of the fiscal year 2012-2013 budget will depend on when the Department for Local Government approves the budget as to form and classification, so as to properly advertise the second reading and final adoption. The Tuesday, June 19th, 2012 court meeting will more than likely have to be canceled and a special meeting scheduled to accommodate the second reading and final adoption of the fiscal year 2012-2013 budget.
Any questions on the schedule of the budget?
Judge, I'd like to comment briefly. I think the court members need to be prepared at the June 5th meeting to make any changes to the proposed budget, and I would anticipate that we would have to take a recess during the meeting for the treasurer and the finance director to make the changes to the budget. So I think the June 5th meeting could end up being a long meeting, just because I assume that there will be changes to the proposed submitted budget. So I just thought I'd give the court members a heads.
I don't think they'll need as much time as they did last year, because they had to cut approximately $2.8 million out of the budget. So I think this year that the going back in it will be probably put it on you one hand. But that's a change that this court has to make that decision on. Mr. County Attorney, anything else? Madam Treasurer.
Authorize any necessary transfers and interfund transfers to pay the bills, payroll, health, and life insurance.
Motion to pay the bills. Motion, Magistrate Robinson. Have a second. Magistrate Anderson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson, Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Assistant County Attorney, would you have the second reading and final adoption of budget
Second reading.
amendment?
This is a second reading of a budget amendment. It's an ordinance relating to fiscal year 2011-2012 annual budget and amendment thereof. Whereas the Pike County Fiscal Court has realized unbudgeted receipts from the following funds, be it ordained by the Pike County Fiscal Court of Commonwealth of Kentucky. Section 1 receipts is total amended revenues of $258,093. Sub B appropriations, total amended appropriations a like amount of $258,093. It has been approved as to form and classification by the state local finance officer. This is a second reading, requires a motion, second, and majority vote.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion, Master Robinson. Have a second, Master Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson? Master Murphy? Master Robinson? And Judge Ruth?
Yes. Madam Treasurer. Madam Treasurer.
Authorize the payment of expenditure approval list dated May 14th, 2012, and any other utility and telephone bills received before checks are run.
Motion, Master Robinson. Have a second, Master Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy? Master Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
The election is coming up on May 22nd. Authorize that when the election claims that are presented to the Finance Department by the County Court Clerk's Office, that they be allowed to be paid as a mini run before the next accounts payable run.
And that money's in the budget. Have a motion. Motion, Master Robinson. Have a second, Master Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy? Master Robinson? Judge Murphy?
Yes.
Judge Rutherford, I'm sorry.
Authorize the issuance of a check in the amount of $100,000 to the Pike County Housing Authority from pass-through LGDF funds A395-01 when received.
That's the last allocation from severance tax from the legislature. Do I have a motion? Motion,
Second.
Master Murphy, second, Master Johnson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy? Master Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize the issuance of a check in the amount of $46,544.47 to Grapevine Volunteer Fire Department from pass-through LGDF funds A381-01 when received.
We reorganized that department. They have a new board, and it seems like they're trying and doing a pretty good job. Damus had worked with them on the roof. They got the roof on, and Leo, hopefully that we've got that back on its feet. And the state was ready to close them, put them out of business till they reorganized. To have a motion. Motion, Master Murphy. Have a second, Master Robinson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy? Master Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Authorize the registration fees and lodging for the 9th Annual Kentucky Cable and Telecommunications Conference, August 28th, 2012, at the Embassy Suites Hotel, Lexington, Kentucky, for anyone who wishes to attend.
So that's when the Pike TV, Governor Patton he's chairman of the board, will give that group. He's the main speaker in regard to Pike TV, which will certainly give us statewide recognition for the job and the way that this station has developed, as quick as it developed, and it's getting to be one of the most watched channels in the county. So have a motion.
Motion.
Have a motion. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy? Master Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Authorize registration fees of $40 each for Charles Carlton and Jimmy Dale Sanders to attend Big Sandy Watershed Conference 2012 at the Breaks Interstate Park, Friday, May 18th, 2012.
Have a motion. Have a motion. Have a second, Master Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy? Master Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
With the awarding of the dump trucks and the solid waste transfer trucks, I'd like authorization to begin the process to get a lease package with CAECO for the bid road dump trucks and solid waste transfer trucks in the amount of $1,017,148.
Have a motion, Master Robinson. Have a second. Have a second, Master Anderson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson?
Yes.
Master Murphy? Master Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes.
Need authorization for a check to the YMCA not to exceed 12 pool personnel at $250 each for their certification training for the pool employees. But if the employee fails and does not get certification, we only owe $50 per the pool employee.
Judge Hayes. Judge Gina Robinson and I are trying mightily to get these pools open pursuant to this court's directive by Monday, May 28th, which is Memorial Day weekend. And we just don't have lifeguards. The law requires us to have certified lifeguards. We need 2 on duty at all times. Every day, and the pools are open 7 days a week. So we've got to come up with a pool of certified Red Cross trained lifeguards. That's what this money is for, as an inducement to our young people. It will be for us to pay those fees up front. A lot of young people have trouble getting $250. And so spread out over the 10-week swimming season, for those who become qualified, it costs the county about $20 a week in addition to their salary. So, but we have to have lifeguards or we can't open the pool. The agreement is that they'll give us 10 weeks. Now, you know how that'll be. But if they don't give us the 10 weeks, then they're going to owe us the money back, and we'll see how that works out. Roland said good luck.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Magistrate Johnson, to have a second. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Authorize a check made payable to Frank Hatcher for $1,500 for travel expenses to return the leased equipment to auction in Montgomery, Alabama. He informed me he's going on Tuesday, May 29th.
This happens every year. We pass this motion and send him south.
Motion.
To have a motion from Magistrate Robinson, second from Magistrate Murphy. Have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
Just have to bring back receipts and turn over any unexpended.
Hey, John, I need to pay that addition we built to Golden Era Fire Department. I need to pay Merlin Sesco for the roof. So I think it's 60. I know he's going to fax it. He called me Friday, and I meant to call, and I
Have a motion from Magistrate Anderson to authorize the treasurer to issue a check.
yeah.
and
He's
the
going to fax me
amount
an
of-
invoice, and I'll forward it on to John. I think it's 16.
Not
I
to
can't remember.
exceed, put your number not to exceed, so,
Uh,
on your motion.
it's less than $2,000.
Less than, not to exceed $2,000. Authorize the treasurer as soon as it's received by fax today. Any others? Madam Treasurer?
We need a
Need a-
second.
Hey, Judge, I had a bill here.
Got a motion and a second. Got a roll call vote, please.
We need a second. Who was it?
I just waiting to do mine.
Okay. Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Judge Rutherford.
Yes.
I had a bill here, but I ain't got it, Judge, so I just wait the next time.
Madam Treasurer?
I have no further business, Judge.
Judge, I make we're going to executive session? Yes. Okay. Pursuant to KRS 61-810, I make a motion we go into executive session to discuss specific personnel matters.
Have a motion, have a second, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson.
Yes.
Magistrate Johnson.
Yes.
Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Judge Rutherford.
Come out of executive session, have a motion, have a second by Magistrate Murphy, have a roll call vote, please.
Magistrate Anderson. Magistrate Johnson. Magistrate Murphy. Magistrate Robinson. Judge Rutherford.
Yes. Judge Hayes?
Again. Judge Personnel makes the following recommendations. Truck driver road lot number 1 at Johns Creek, we recommend that be passed until the next court meeting so that the road commissioner, Frank Hatcher, can test the drivers in that position. Next, mini packer driver, solid waste area number 1 at Johns Creek, one bidder on that job who is qualified, Jeffrey Varney, and we recommend that Jeffrey Varney be awarded that position. Next, Judge, we need approval to extend an additional 3 months of sick leave for a very dedicated and long-time Pike County employee and a very able Pike County employee who we're going to sorely miss. Marley Coleman is who I'm talking about, and he's been off work since January 26, 2012. His time would be up July 26, but he's requesting, pursuant to the code, that additional 3 months. Next, Judge, we made approval to hire Elijah B. Rogers as a temporary weed mower for the Public Works Department at a 2H pay rate effective May 7th, 2012. Next, approval to hire Emery Williamson as a temporary replacement driver for Solid Waste Area Number 1 at a 3H pay rate effective May 15th, 2012. He's replacing Clyde Sexton, who has bid into another position. Next, Judge, we need approval to hire Laura Mercedes Neely, Neely, as a special employee in our Social Services Department at the rate of $8 per hour, effective May the 7th, 2012. As a special employee, she would not be entitled to any benefits, and Judge, her total salary at $8 per hour is not to exceed the maximum of $1,000. Next, Judge, we need approval to transfer Rick Henshaw from the animal shelter to Solid Waste Area Number 1 as a mini packer driver at a 3H rate of pay plus his longevity. This is a lateral transfer, and there is no change in pay grade. That will be effective May 16th, 2012. And going along with that, we need approval to transfer Jason Burke from a loader in the Solid Waste Department. He works at Solid Waste Area Number 3 to the animal shelter as an animal control helper at a 3H pay rate per hour plus his longevity effective May 16, 2012. He will move from a 2H pay rate on that date to a 3H. Next, Judge, we need approval of the court to be able to pay Jerry McNamee, who, as the court is aware and as acknowledged, is replacing Mike Lyons, as well as still doing his old position over to landfill. But he is working in Mike Lyons' position as Commissioner of Solid Waste more than 50% of the time, and therefore it is our recommendation that he be paid Mike Lyons' pay rate of 5A at effective April the 2nd, 2012. There is a letter that we have here from Marley Coleman, by the way, where he states what his condition is. He's undergone surgery. He's receiving radiation and chemotherapy treatments, and that'll be filed in his personnel file. And that's our recommendation, Judge.
One question, has Rick Henshaw got a CDL license?
He does.
Okay, that'd be my recommendation, my motion to have a second.
I have one question.
Go right ahead, Madam Treasurer.
I thought Mike Lyons was a 6A.
Well, let my approval be that he's to receive Mike Lyons' rate of pay, be it 5A or be it 6A. All right?
So I was thinking he got it back after a decreased down and went back to the commission. Okay.
It really doesn't matter. That's the recommendation.
Wash out either way.
That's right.
Okay, wash out.
Whatever Mike Lyons' pay was, Jerry McNamee is to get it, less longevity, of course.
You have a motion and a second. Do I have a second? Have a second, Master Anderson. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson?
Yes.
Master Johnson? Master Murphy? Master Robinson? Judge Rutherford?
Yes. I need a motion to adjourn. I want to thank everybody for trying to rush through the agenda so the ones that want to attend the funeral of Sampson can do that. And the motion to adjourn. Have a second. Have a roll call vote, please.
Master Anderson? Master Johnson? Master Murphy? Master Robinson? Judge Rutherford?